Hello everyone! Today my friend Ilya and I are going to present our solutions to chosen problems. We're going to use Python 3.7 and the standard modules. We've decided to solve two different problems which are not totally different but require different approaches to them. So let us get started. We wish you would be keen on watching our video. We should therefore be grateful if you would take into account our desire expressed here. Have a good time! Now I'm going to read the problem name, and as you can see it's the second occurrence. There are some conditions in this problem, so we are given a string and we need to find in this line the second occurrence of the letter F and output the index of this occurrence. So if the letter F in this given line occurs only once, we need to print the number -1, and if it doesn't occur once, we need to print the number -2. And we are not allowed to use the count method to solve this problem, and let us proceed. To begin with, I'd like to state the restriction which is given in the condition. So we're forbidden to use method count, and we don't really occupy our attention to this method. To deal with this problem, we have come with the idea to use some captivating ways to overcome the restriction. And first of all, we need to identify the str1 variable which is given in the string type. Let's do this. The step I'm going to do now isn't so obvious efficiently, so I wonder you forgive me this weakness. Thus, sorry not sorry. But what it actually does mean. To explain this, let's unzip our long node, and as we have coded, we have a string which is called str1, and the result made thus far is going to be filtered by the function of the string type, is also known as filter. It works in the way which combines two positions: the function which would determine the criteria for the filtering and the filtered variable. So there is lambda function is used for creating small one-time and anonymous function objects in Python. And as you have seen already, it filters our string in that way that returns the string must be built up only of the letters F. According our goal, we convert the given string to list, and the result for this moment you could see it here. As we identified the list, now we need to unveil the length of this list. Thus, we use function len, and we appropriate the number of symbol f to our variable number. Next step is only to build the conditions, which is unbelievably easy. So if the length is equal 1, therefore we print -1. If the length is less than 1, therefore we print -2. In other cases, we need to continue coding. We create new variable, which type is integer, and the name is first, and it holds the value of the exactly first occurrence of the char in the brackets. Further, we assign the value of str1 to the new variable is called newList, those type is list. Next step is to restate the new list's value with the index of the value of the variable first with any char, but I've chosen a space. For the next movement, we run new variable is called newX, which consists of a string comes from the value of list is called newList, with the conversion from list to string with the method join. where in the brackets in the front of method the char which will join the elements from the list. Here you could see the difference. There is not much case left now, so we need to print the index of the new first f, and as we have come familiar with the string method find, we're going to use that one. Now we've solved the problem, and therefore you may have a little practice with your code. My part is closing to the end, and I'll now hand over to my colleague. Thanks for the watching, and have fun.
Now you see the second problem we are going to discuss, so let's find a solution for it. The problem is the following. We need to print the elements of the list in reverse order without changing the list itself. Input format will be the list of numbers. All numbers in the list are on one line. The output will be the answer for the task. To solve this problem, we are going to use some interesting approaches, which we suppose you would be interested in. As you can see from the description of the problem, we need to reverse the list we are given. For sure, we could just use the method reverse or function reversed like this. But actually, we are able to create our own algorithm, so let us get started. The first step is to identify the list. In our case, we will call it line. We are going to do it in this way. What actually all this means? We set the list of numbers where each element of the list is in the string type. Then we read the elements from the keyboard, which are separated by spaces. Note that there may be as many as we do spaces, but .split method will read them as one. Then we convert them into the string type with the help of function str. The second step is to identify the new empty list, which we call new line. The third step is to verify if the list consists of more than one element, because if it is false, then there is only one element in the list, and therefore it should be printed as the sole element. Certainly we take this case into consideration, so our main condition looks like this. The fourth step is to code the main algorithm of our function, which will reverse the list's elements. Let us write it, and then we explain each of the line. So we have coded the solution already, so let's find out the meaning of our approach. To begin with, we create the cycle with the counter I starts from the last element of the list. You may be looking forward to getting the answer why there is such a condition for the first step, len line -1. So the answer is quite comprehensive. As you know, lists indices start with 0, thus the index of the last element would be the length of the list -1. For unveiling the length, we use function len. As the range includes the first step of counter and does not include the last step, -1 is the first element index for the declining counting, because -1 plus 1 is 0, and the index of the first element in a list is certainly 0. In order to show the diminishing of the counter, we use step is equal to -1. The last step is only to fill the new line list. To do this, we need the append method. With this method and our cycle, we will fill the new line list with the ith element of line list. To end up the program, we write print with the following attributes, "dot join new line," which separates elements of the list with spaces.